Guitar Heroes, you've just seen all of the 6 major pentatonic 5-note blues scales demonstrated, including the open position, which is typically down here with the open strings. So here's a couple of key takeaways from these scale lessons, and this digs down a little bit into theory, but stick with me. It's just the next level of learning in your guitar playing journey. So obviously we should know that pentatonic means 5 notes in the scale versus the 7 notes that are in the typical major scale. So what do? We're taking out the 4th and the 7 notes from the major scale for the pentatonic. Now after the 5 notes, then those same notes are repeated again, except they're 8 notes higher, or twice the tone frequency. Kind of an octave basically is these 8 notes in the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. When you go from the low do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, to the next one, you're going up a full octave, and that basically would be 7 notes on the 8th note is when you jump up in the next octave. Now the other thing that's kind of important is, and hopefully you've been able to see this, is position 1 of all of these scales is all determined by the low E string. And so that's why the E minor position 1 is up at the 12th fret, because that's the E. And of course then would be, F at 1, and G is going to be 3, and A at 5, and B is 7, and 8 is going to be C, and then 10 is going to be D, and then of course then we're back up to 12 to the E. Now the next thing is major scale pattern in position 1. That pattern is exactly the same as the minor pentatonic scale 3 frets down. So as an example, if we're going to play in A, and we're playing this standard pattern, we're just playing that standard pattern. If we drop down 3 frets, now we're not going to start counting here. We're going to start here. 1, 2, 3. So now we're down to the F sharp. We're going to do that exact same pattern here, and now we have the major scale versus the minor. So that just gives you a little bit of convenience that you can jump back and forth between a major and a minor, and you only have to go 3 frets away, and it's exactly the same pattern. Now the other thing that hopefully you've picked up on is our scale root notes. They're important. You always want to land on those. It kind of brings you back home, and that's just kind of part of doing any little lead run. We always want to land on that home base, which is basically the key root note for that particular key. Now the other thing is, of course, when you're playing the blue notes, we always want to make sure that we never land on those. We don't want to land on it, because that's what you get, right? But when we pass through, they sound good. Alright, well, all these scale lessons are grouped together in my YouTube channel under the playlist section. If you love the blues, you need to work on these scales. The benefit comes quickly as you start to understand how to find the root notes and the blue notes in each one of the patterns. Well, I hope you got something out of this lesson, and you'll check out the rest of the scale lessons in the coming weeks. I'll leave a link in the description to the playlist for all of the major scales. Take it easy out there, and we'll see you next time.